So I'm a mutant, I know, but I just recently, like past 2 days, went to see Avengers Infinity War, and here is my very belated review on the movie and just my general thoughts. Yeah, overall, I really liked it. I'm really happy to see that, like, after all this build up, like, Marvel is going somewhere. Right off the bat, I'm just gonna say that Thanos was an excellent villain, and that was one of my biggest concerns. Because Marvel was, it's not that, like, none of their villains were good, but they were just sort of like, blah. He's a villain, she's a villain, whatever. Up until I want to say like Black Panther, they started to get like really good and in depth, and Thanos has like a very well fleshed out backstory, and you almost understand where he's coming from. I mean, he's a genocidal maniac. He needs to be stopped, and there's no question there. But like you almost understand where he's coming from, and I think that that makes for a very good villain. As far as like everybody in the movie goes, they did a pretty good job. I'm happy that they decided to sort of like split people up. They decided to have like different subgroups. Like Thor is working with, like Rocket and fucking Groot and shit like that. And like Star-Lord is off on Titan with like Tony Stark and Doctor Strange and shit. And I mean, just to name a few, there's like the whole thing in Wakanda with fucking Captain America and, obviously Black Panther. Everybody's like working towards like different things, but the overall goal is basically to stop, Thanos from getting all of the six Infinity Stones, whatever the fuck. As far as like deaths are concerned, this movie was not nearly as rough as it could have been. There's the whole thing that happens at the end, of course, but it's like blaringly apparent that that's going to be reversed somehow. But I think that all the deaths that happened up until that point are permanent, and I think that all the deaths that are yet to happen afterwards are also going to be permanent. And I think that in the next one, we're going to see some like real serious like casualties. I mean, Iron Man might be gone, Captain America I'm pretty fucking sure they're gonna kill, but who's to say, honest to godly. These movies have been this movie was pretty unpredictable. I didn't like really foresee a lot of the things happening that did happen. Vision dies and shit like that, but I gotta be real, like, I don't give a fuck about Vision. Does anybody else give a fuck about Vision? I think he's kind of a flat character. Like, they never really, like, I understand, I mean, like, power-wise, he's cool and stuff like that, but it's sort of like, he came around like, Avengers Age of Ultron, and it's just like, boom, he's there, and then he's doing action. Same thing with fucking Falcon. Like, he's been in God knows how many movies, but has had virtually, like, no character development. Gamora's death was rough. That was fucking tough. Dude, the fact that the fucking Red Skull is still alive, I was kind of wondering. I was like, dude, they can't just, like, leave that totally open-ended. I mean, granted, they didn't really, like, do anything big with his character, but it's sort of like, he is still out there. He is still alive. That's pretty fucking dope. I mean, it was like a 2.5-hour movie. At points, I mean, like, it's a lot of action, which I would totally expect. At points, it seems a little bit like, all right, maybe we could cut this down a little bit, I mean, like, the runtime is, like a lot of the times when, like, Blade Runner, for example, Blade Runner 2049, I watched that, it's like a 3-hour movie, and it just goes right by, because I fucking love every fucking second of it. This movie, it's like the length of the movie, you could feel it at certain points. At certain points, like, again, overall, it's really good, and the fact that, like, they bit off like so much that they were able to even remotely balance it in one movie is, I mean, it's very, very, I saw this going awry in like so many different ways, but this was handled with such extreme care that like even the like slight flaws that were here and there, it's like they're easily overlooked. It was a very entertaining movie. I'm gonna be real, I'm kind of disappointed that Ant-Man did not make an appearance. I'm kind of actually straight up bummed about that. I know that Ant-Man and Wasp Woman is coming out soon, so I'm sort of kind of wondering if like the timeline for that movie isn't going to be like adjacent sort of to the third Avengers movie, where basically like they'll have their whole like side bullshit that they were doing, and then like basically at the end of the movie it'll be like, wait, what's happening? Fucking disappear. I'm thinking that's probably the route that they're gonna go, but I hope that they keep Ant-Man around, because I appreciate the fact, especially given the fact that we've had 2 Avengers movies before, that they kept the old crew. Like, all the old crew survived the 50% incineration at the end of the movie. Like, you know, Tony Stark's still there, Captain America's still there. We got Rocket as a bonus, you know, but like War Machine's still alive, and like, you know, most of the central, you know, Avengers are still there. Like Hawkeye, I'm gonna go out on a limb and assume that he's still out there because he, like Ant-Man, wasn't in this movie. But they got rid of like a lot of the new people, man. Like, you know, Black fucking Panther is gone, Scarlet Witch is gone, fucking Star-Lord is gone. It's like pretty much, apart from Rocket, all of the Guardians of the Galaxy are gone. Like, you know, it's, you know, I mean, I was really kind of surprised at that, but it'll also make it easier for them to sort of like hone in on like, okay, you know, we can, like, they can have the Hulk actually kind of Hulk out. I was a little disappointed that we didn't actually see the actual Hulk break out at the end of the movie, but I think it's a good setup for the next one, because I think that when we do get to see him again, it's going to be like super fucking epic, and everybody in the theater is just going to be like, yeah! I also think that it's going to be sort of like, I mean, this is just a total guess, total shot in the dark. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're going to bring all the Avengers back, but what I think is going to happen is it's going to spend most of the movie around the central Avengers. Whoever's going to die is going to die. And then at the end of the movie, they'll be able to undo the whole finger snap thing. And then there'll be one final sequence of just like an insane fucking battle with everybody. Now, in terms of Star-Lord, I'm not going to get too much into this because I actually want to do my next video about the Guardians of the Galaxy movies for my own personal reasons. But a lot of people are giving Star-Lord shit. And I mean, like, yeah, he fucked everything up. I mean, he did. Like, I can't deny it, but I don't hate the guy. I don't hate the guy because out of all of the Marvel superheroes, I probably relate to him the most. But, you know, like, given what happened, I mean, seriously, put yourself in his fucking shoes, you know? I mean, yeah, he could have listened to reason. He could have sort of just been like, you know, what's the way I get back at this fucker? Letting them get the fucking gauntlet off first and stuff. But he was blind with rage and emotion. And that's one thing about his character that, like, I've always kind of admired and related to, is that, like, he shows more weakness than a lot of the other characters. And I actually think it gives him a little bit more depth. That's sort of why when, like, Thor shows up on his ship, he's all, like, you know, posturing, like, puffing out his chest. Oh, yeah, you know, because he, you know, he's sort of like, uh-oh, another, you know, fucking alpha male on my ship. You know, I gotta fucking compensate. I can't let this guy, you know, fuck Gamora or anything like that, you know. So like, I don't really hate him. I think that it was just kind of an ill-fated situation that really sucked. I'm kind of surprised that they took out Doctor Strange, because it really fucking leaves you with like, oh my god, what are they going to do in the next movie? I'm kind of bummed that Nick Fury didn't have a bigger part in it, but in all God's honesty, I thought that little blip at the end credits was super fucking cool. You know, now we're going to see Captain Marvel, and she's going to be the big, you know, I think, turning of the tide. She's going to have a huge role to play in the next one, because, like I said, since they got rid of Doctor Strange, it's kind of like, what are you guys going to do? You know, I mean, okay, you got some fucking technology. I mean, Bruce Banner has the Hulk that he can't even fucking use, and even if he could, Thanos kicked the Hulk's ass in the first, like, 5 minutes of this movie, you know? So it's sort of like, what are they going to do? I really, like, their options are extremely limited at this point, if they even have any, you know? So it's kind of cool that they're going to be introducing her, and I'm kind of excited to see where that's going to go. But, yeah, overall, Avengers Infinity War, it was really quite brilliant the way they were able to fit so much into this one movie and actually make it work. And something that they're getting right that DC clearly is not, is that they have taken several movies to build up to this point. I mean, like, there are heroes that we have been following since 2008. There are heroes that, you know, were just introduced within the past 2 years, and they've all just come together in this movie. And if they hadn't taken the time to do that, this movie would have been a clusterfuck. Like, it would have been, like, unwatchable. But it was watchable because they've taken their time. They've taken a solid decade. Think about that. That is cinematic history. They have taken a solid decade to plan this shit out and to bring it to this awesome fucking conclusion. It had a few flaws, but they were very few and far between. Overall, I loved the shit out of this movie. I'm definitely going to go back to theaters to see it again, and I would advise that anybody who hasn't seen it definitely, I mean, definitely go see it. And go see it on HDX if you can, because, like, come on, man, it's fucking worth it. Look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Later.